The wind speeds started in excess gust of 87 miles per hour. We had trees going down everywhere, power lines. All of those power lines were just like lighting a match because of the extreme drought conditions. So we went from nothing to over 20 plus structure fires in a matter of minutes. And that grew, and that grew, and that grew. I hope that answered your question.
How long have you two been married?
57 years.
Meet Darrell and Robert Hollander.
We're 82 years old. Now, going down a mountain is not on the exercise chart.
These two escaped the raging wildfire in Sevier County together. Not by car, but by foot, down the side of a mountain.
Fire was blowing across the road. And so I didn't know of another way to get down from where we were easily. So you just cover up your mouth and we'll run right straight through it.
They left their home, their bed and breakfast business on Campbell Lead Road in a moment's notice before the fire took over and surrounded them.
The only reasonable way to go at that time was go down a hill.
If they didn't, they wouldn't have been here to tell this story.
You just put one foot in front of the other and you just keep on going, and if you fall, you get up and keep going.
In the darkness.
We couldn't see anything at all going down. We had to feel our way down.
Well, he kept yelling at me, foot first, and grab a tree, there's a tree.
An obstacle course with no light except the glowing orange above as neighborhoods burned around them.
I don't think once we started down the hill we were ever particularly panicky or scared. It was just the drive to go. Just keep going. Just keep going.
While they may have lost everything,
These are the only clothes I own.
what they do have is each other.
It's things, you know. You can't buy your body, but you can buy things. And so you just don't fret about what you've lost. Be grateful for the fact you didn't get hurt any more than a scratch or something. And even that was a good thing. It wasn't her eye.
Well, Campbell Lead Road, where they live, is where also officials found 3 bodies, and they said it themselves, they are lucky, lucky, lucky to be alive.
So many people are saying that, Madison. Thanks very much. We appreciate your reporting again.
WBIR 10 News reporter Luis Fernandez has a strong survivor for us to meet tonight, a pig named Charles.
Basically, we drove through fire. We drove through hell. I've never seen anything like it in my whole life.
Rob Holmes and his family had to escape from the fires on Monday night. They had to leave everything behind, including their pet pig, Charles. The next day, they received a phone call.
He says, there's nothing left. He says, when I say nothing, he said, it's just ashes. He says, but there is some good news. He said, Charles is still there.
Somehow, Charles had managed to escape the fire by burrowing his way into the mud near the house. Charles was alive, so Rob knew what he had to do.
Next morning, I didn't care what it took. I went to rescue him. And now he's here with the Sevier County Fair, and they're taking care of him for us.
It's a miracle. Charles has an incredible will to survive.
If you look at the extreme conditions, nobody could survive. A human couldn't, nor a pig. It's a miracle.
Rob's daughter, Andrea, asked for the pig nearly 3 years ago. She was happy beyond words.
I don't think I've ever had a feeling like that before. It's like hearing that your family member with cancer maybe made it out, something like that.
And while Andrea, Rob, and the others may not have that many material possessions, they're just happy that their family is whole once again.
We're living in a hotel. We basically left with the clothes that we have. We have nothing. We've lost all of our possessions, but none of that matters. We've got something more and more important. We've got our family. We've got love. The Lord took care of us. And then he blessed us and he gave us back Charles. And so now we're complete.
At the Sevier County Fairgrounds, Luis Fernandez, WBIR 10 News.
John, incredible stories of survival keep coming up, and I heard this one today, a husband and wife both surviving, she driving down with the pets and him still stuck at the top of the mountain.
We had winds that were hurricane force. This was not your typical fire.
As wildfire ravaged the Great Smoky Mountains, Joy Euchre found herself rushing to safety.
It was just embers and flames on both sides.
But her worries remained because her husband was still stuck on the mountain above. Pete had stayed late to do work at Ober Gatlinburg, got the call to evacuate, but flames blocked his escape.
Told me, you're going to have to turn around. You can't get through here. And I looked behind the fire crew, and there was a huge wall of fire.
He headed back up the mountain and called Joy.
And that was pretty much the last phone conversation we had, because every time I tried to call after that, there was no signal.
The concrete parking lot of Ober became his safe zone, and it wasn't long before others joined him.
The big plan that God has for us came into action and held him in place because God knew those folks needed a leader.
All night long, Pete kept watch over the more than 20 strangers seeking shelter at Ober. The next morning, he traveled down, stopping to visit his home.
Just as I get around the trolley stop, there's the first burned out tree, and from there on up, nothing. Smoke, ashes, not a single house.
A once familiar route, unrecognizable.
And I saw my house. Well, we're supposed to be my house.
Bye-bye, little bear.
But the damage was spotty. His home gone, his garden survived.
In the grayness of all the smoke and the ashes, there were these bright red and orange peppers still sitting there.
A small sign, but an important one for a couple thankful they survived and already looking to rebuild.
Our A-frame was called Little Bear, and we've already decided on a new name. It's going to be New Bear because it's going to be a brand new start.